So I'm Ben Badiee with Badiee Development. I've had 10 different companies. I've had companies with 2,000 employees, and I've had companies with 5 and 10 employees. I love discovering this life and seeing what it has in store for me. And arguably, your generation is the most fortunate generation ever alive on the planet Earth. And even though there are circumstances such as pandemics that we experience, guys, and we wonder, oh my God, what's this staying home situation? What about my education? None of that at all is going to affect you in an adversarial way. What you guys are going to learn is that what just happened with this pandemic is going to serve you guys tremendously and amazingly, because challenges disrupts us and allows us to become bigger and better at what we do. And it allows us to overcome our fears and allows us to look outside the box. And what it has done for technology, it has put technology and exponential technology, for that matter, on a fast pace. And what was going to take 5 years to get to be developed, it already took place in 1 year. And some claim maybe 10 years of development. So I wanted to have this opportunity to tell you guys what I have learned recently and touch on some of the areas that will perhaps interest you and excite you and maybe even challenge you. There are a number of exponential technologies that are taking place in our lifetime. And the question is, are we aware of it? If we're not aware of it, then your mind will sit and you question, oh, what is that? What is 3D printing? What is this artificial intelligence? I wonder if it's going to last long and all that. But once you spend time on it, you'll find out that the future is so bright because of it that you almost will lose patience for people that are negative about life in general, because they just don't know about what's happening. So which comes down to, I start this conversation with our mindset. And what is our mindset? Is our mindset of an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset? And one would say, well, what the heck would have mindset have anything to do with future and futurism and technology? Well, I'm here to tell you that it has everything to do with it. If you think this world is a world of scarcity, problem, and challenges, you will not even be the type of individual who would be interested to dive into the world of the future, welcome it, and cherish it, and harness it, and use it. Chances are one of you guys are going to be a billionaire. Chances are the rest of you become multi-millionaire. And that's only talking in terms of dollars and cents. To make it even more profound, chances are one of you will change the world in ways that you cannot even visualize and perceive as you sit here today in our Zoom call. If you start thinking about abundance mindset, you start thinking about the possibilities. Your mind that will challenge it, you'll tell your mind to be quiet, because I want to learn what's potential. And I'm not going to let your puny little mind, that's you talking to yourself, stand on the way of me accepting what's about to come and what's happening already. We're dealing with network and broadband. We're dealing with sensors. We're dealing with robotics and drones, 3D printing, virtual reality, augmented reality, digital biology, and blockchain, and brain computations, and nanotech related items that are mind-boggling. And I'm going to dive into some of them so that you guys, if you haven't known about it, one of it, I hope, will pique your interest. In terms of computational capabilities is, if you have one of these devices in your hand, an iPhone, do you guys have an iPhone or Android? Well, the computational power is in one of these babies right here. And those things cost $500-600, maybe $1,000 if you upgrade it with lots of memory. When they send the first man to the moon, John Glenn, the computational ability of the entire NASA is less than what you got in your hand right here. Just think about it. I know you're going to say, oh, well, that's a little exaggeration. No, Google it and confirm what I just told you. When we send a man to the moon, you see those hundreds of people sitting in front of all those computers. That entire mainframe system, the computational ability and capability of it is less than your little device. This is what has happened in the past 30, 40 years. And you haven't seen anything yet. That's why when there is a world pandemic, such as coronavirus, which affect the entire planet, you wonder how the heck did they come up with some vaccine for that in a short period of time? Welcome to the world of computation. It's not people sitting with test tubes testing every day. Okay, this didn't work or that didn't work. There are so much computational ability that is at work that is mind-boggling. Imagine being able to add convergence of variety of technologies in such a manner that they can do biohacking. They can put mDNA in your system. Is almost like a picture. They duplicate an image of a bacteria called coronavirus, letting your system to figure out how to fight it. It's almost like without putting a bacteria in your system, which is how they used to do it for malaria and other things, they put a picture of it, something that resembles it, almost like a wanted picture, like, you know, a thief, they put the picture wanted, they put a picture of a wanted, and your system sees it, they form an army, and they get ready to battle it. And when they see that thing show up, they go after it like there is no tomorrow. I know, because I got my 2 vaccines. First one was breezy, easy breezy, because all they did, introduced a picture of the bacteria. The second one you put in, they showed the bacteria is back, let's go get it. And I got my butt kicked because my immune system went and fought for it. This is what we're dealing with. It's amazing what's happening. When it comes to artificial intelligence, you guys know all about it, I'm sure more than I do. But these things are no joke. And convergence of technologies are going to be just crazy. I'm going to paint a picture for you. Imagine my mind is going to be connected to the cloud. My mind and your mind and everybody's mind is going to happen. Every thought that you have, it gets stored. Every thought, every vision, every sound that you hear, it gets stored. And imagine if one day, one of you, John, Ricardo, you wonder what Nicholas is thinking, you can connect to his cloud, and your cloud, your mind in the cloud, going to connect to his, and you know exactly what he's buying, what color textbook he's buying for particular computational class that he's attending. And if you wanted to buy the same textbook, as long as he has approved it, you as someone, your brain in the cloud going to connect to his brain, you know what color he's buying from Amazon, at what price, and it orders it, and the booklet arrives at your door. You can almost do that, and it can be a logarithm that it can, as you get older, your mind can, based on what you've been in the past, based on your past thinking, based on the way you want to think, will guide you to do and think a certain way that the best of you would have ever done. This is the future. Thus, human longevity. Human longevity is not about living till we are 80 or 90. I'm 60, but I have no doubt at all that I'm going to live through 128. And you're thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? Well, I'm telling you, I'm 60, but in my mind, I'm 30 years old plus 30 years of experience. And there's going to be age reversal. It's not just being less sick and less healthy. With the computational ability that exists in the world today, with 3D printing of body parts, with all the biohacking that's going on, we're going to do reversal of aging. That means by the time I'm 100, I may look better than I am now. I may be fitter than I do now. So our job is, how do we stay healthy and be in a good shape so we can benefit from what's about to come in our generation? And eventually, there wouldn't be any sickness in the world that they won't have a solution for in the next 10 years, 15 years. And by the time we solve all the current cancers and problems, there would be new issues that will come up, new coronavirus type issues, and the world will solve those. You guys don't realize that when we just experienced an amazing world pandemic, guys, it took less than a year to find vaccinations for it. And of course, we don't know how long we got to wait till you get the second shot, all minor stuff, not to worry about it. When it comes to, this whole network and broadbands and of the world, let me just address a few things. Do you guys realize that in 5 years, the number of users of these little smartphones gonna double in the world? It's gonna go from approximately 5 billion to 10 billion. The world population is only 7.5, 8 now. So what does that mean? What does it mean when the users of our device is gonna double, boys? Well, let me tell you an idea or a glimpse of what's gonna happen. That means the same amount of knowledge you guys are going to be getting at a magnificent school such as Johns Hopkins University is going to be the same kind of technology that will deliver the education that Mr. Bill Gates' son will get, which is the same amount of knowledge and technology that a boy in rural part of Africa or India and China can get. What does that mean? That means the people that are not so hungry because they're so content and happy where they are in life, let's say US or Europe or world-class leaders of the world, they're going to be sitting and they may not want to grow as much. And the hungry kids in Africa or China, they're going to say, I need to feed my family. I'm going to learn all I can. My classes are not 8 hours a day. They're going to be 18 hours a day because I only need 6 hours to sleep. And I'm going to learn and learn and learn. Those people are going to produce. They're going to become your competition, but they're also going to become your customers. So the world is going to be in your palm of your hand, guys. And the world whereby they have to run, the infrastructure to bring wire and cable to the homes, those days are going to be gone. Every human being on the planet, sooner or later in the coming year, in the coming 4 or 5 years, and they can going to be connected. They don't need to have structures to build roads, to bring water and electricity and Wi-Fi to people's home. There's going to be equipment that just will produce solar energy, convert solar energy and other means of energy to produce power and to produce water from pure air and atmosphere that we live in. The world is going to change like crazy. And guess who's going to be the beneficiary of it? You guys. People that kind of say, oh, it's interesting. I want to be a part of it. So the most important thing to remember at your age is Confidence. Because confident people don't know where they are. Because you're always challenging yourself. But they know who they're becoming. You're becoming a better version of yourself. So never feel bad when you're confused, when you don't know, when you have no clue, no solution. That's perfect in the world you live in today. Because it's going to be changing so often, you cannot be stuck with saying, okay, as long as I do good in my math class, I'm doing great. The world is going to change so often. So get very comfortable with change. Get very comfortable with unknown. Get very comfortable with not knowing what the heck is going to happen in your life a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. Because for sure it's going to change. Chances are your generation will have 8 to 10 different careers in your life. In terms of sensors, you wonder what's going on with sensors. Well, let me give you a little glimpse of what's going on with sensors in the world. In Australia, they are planting sensors. They're planting those in the trees. Like they make a cut in the trees, they insert a little chip, a little sensor. Guess what it does? It measures exactly what's lacking in nutrition. So instead of the farmers having to go and fertilize the same amount of fertilization on entire field of all their trees, they're going to know, oh, this tree is missing a little bit of zinc. Oh, that tree is missing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a spoonful, a teaspoonful. So the cost of agriculture is going to go down by half to 2/3. The production is going to increase by double to 4 times as much, which means the source of food is going to become cheaper. There's going to be less hunger around our planet. And also the cost of electricity and energy going to eventually get down to 0, sooner or later. This is the world we're living in. It's not if, it's not but, it's the matter of, is it in the next 2, 3, 4 years or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years? It's not far along. It's going to happen. Sensors going to be planted in our head. All of us, can you guys operate without one of these? I don't think you're going to find many people that are disconnected, don't have one of these things. Well, this thing's going to be obsolete, boys and girls. This thing is going to be something that you will never carry one of those things with you. It's going to be a little microprocessor, a little sensor inserted in your fingers, below your nails, in your head, somewhere. It's going to connect to your brain. It's going to connect to your eyes. It's going to measure everything. Everything. I have a ring. It's from a company called Oura, O-U-R-A. It measures my temperature. You know, a day or two before I get sick, I know something is coming up. Thank God it doesn't happen that often. It knows my heartbeat. It knows everything about my sleep, REM sleep, deep sleep. It knows my perspiration. It knows everything about my activities. I don't have to wear an Apple Watch or anything else and having to charge it. I just wear this. It measures everything. If it goes over a certain threshold, it can notify whoever I choose for it to notify. The world is going to change in such a way that this is going to get obsolete. It's going to be a little processor, a little sensor somewhere in your body. You cannot even see it or feel it. And it's going to be connected to everything you can imagine. It's going to know that I'm in a restaurant and I'm about to have a heart attack. It can measure it. It notifies my doctor or pharmacist. The particular medicine that I got to take to prevent my heart attack will be 3D printed. It will come to a drone. It will come to the restaurant. It will serve me the bloody pill. So I take it so I don't die. This is what we're going to be dealing with in no time. It's real. It's happening. Or imagine you're going to go to a dance with a girl and you're driving. You realize that you don't even have a nice blue jacket that she asked you to wear. Imagine you can, in your retina of your eyes, which is connected to everything else, you're gonna see a jacket, you say your price, $50, $100, you see it, you see yourself in a runway, you see how that jacket looks on you, you said buy it, it gets 3D printed, by the time you get home, the jacket is there, you wear it, and you show up to the prom and she's gonna love you just for wearing that jacket for her. This is the world we're gonna be living in. In terms of robotics and drones, well, guys, I live in San Diego, California. I'm doing 2 projects in Ota Mesa, which is by the border. Combined are 500,000 square foot. Down the street from one of my projects is Amazon's new building. What size is it, you wonder? It's 3.2 million square foot. Million. It's 5 stories. First story is a typical warehouse with racks and all that. What's the other 4 stories? There are only 12 to 14 foot height ceilings. It's designed for robotics, and it's designed for drones to handle material. So instead of these guys keep expanding horizontally, they're gonna go vertically. The world is changing. Robots gonna be something you're gonna have around the house that does everything for you, eventually. 3D printing, you wonder how far are we with that? Well, whatever medicine you need is gonna be 3D printed at home sooner or later. Homes are being 3D printed. I've traveled to Denmark and met with a company and signed a partnership. Of course, we haven't completed our journey with them yet, but these are the companies that print homes. Layers of concrete comes based on the blueprint, layer after layer after layer, and in 2 years, in 3 days, and nowadays probably closer to a day, you can print the boundary of a home. Everything else just gets attached to it, the doors and the windows and all that. This is the kind of thing that's being 3D printed. Everything you can imagine gonna be 3D printed. Body parts gonna get 3D printed. Everything gonna get 3D printed. Cheaper, faster, so you don't have to worry about imagining printing something because the labor is cheaper in China, so then you have to ship it, and God forbid there's a COVID and the ships can't come, and what are we gonna do on the panic that you witness? The equipment's gonna be in your backyard. Someone's gonna have this kind of equipments. This is the generation that you guys gonna be the beneficiary of. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. As far as virtual and augmented reality goes, I don't know if you guys have done it, but I don't know if you guys use this Oculus devices and all that stuff. These things are amazing. They're not amazing, they're amazing with a capital A. I would imagine if your mom and dad, if your friends, if you manage to get yourself to a university like Johns Hopkins, one of the most prestigious universities in the world ever, let me share something with you. Invest on one of these things. They're 300, 400 bucks. They are already connected to you connect them to your Wi-Fi, you will experience what the future would be. Either you or your avatar can attend concerts, you can attend conferences, you can go to job sites, you can do so much in the world as though you're present. And then you can actually augment what you see to the way you wish you would want to see it. I'm sure you know more about it than I do, but the world is changing in such a way that you just have to play with these things as though they're a game, like they're toys. But these games and toys are going to be a part of our life going forward. In terms of blockchains and cryptocurrency, I mean, that is the kind of thing that is challenging the world's financial sectors. I'm not talking about Bitcoins, buy it and make money. Just understand what's going on with it, how they can find ways around transferring funds, transferring so much documents in such a way that no one can cheat the system, that no one can go around the system, and it protects the consumer at a fraction of the cost. Those are the kind of things that is really, really enticing to me. And if you want to have your eye about where is all this thing going, you got to look at no other place than China. China and technology, they are taking everything from deceptive to disruptive. They are going to be so far ahead of us. They already are far ahead of us. And I live in America, of course. But there is no joke about who's going to be the super leader of the world when it comes to technology. They've removed all the stops. They are doing incredible stuff on an exponential manner, which is just absolutely amazing. It really boils down to, at younger age that you guys are, what are your success and significant moonshots? What moonshots do you have? What massively transformative desires do you have, guys, that can change the world? Not what you know. What is it that resonates in you that by saying, I want to send a man to the moon, or I want to make the devices and instruments to accomplish this or that. Think about things that it just comes to your mind that is like, holy cow. Not anything that you know, it's actually anything you don't know. Because the world you live in is about learning, which is easy. Everybody jamming knowledge into your brain. The challenge becomes, how do you unlearn and how do you relearn? That's going to be the motto of your life. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. For instance, which one of you do you think that while you're alive, you're going to grab the hand of your wife, your better half, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, and go to a different planet for the weekend, stay in a nice hotel, drink wine or beer, have beautiful dinners, and come back Sunday night in time to go to whatever function you need to attend to on Monday? Raise hand if you think that's possible. I didn't think anybody would, because often people don't. But if you attend things such as Singularity University or Abundance 360, which has been formed for some time now, and I have the privilege of being involved with it, and we started the Singularity University chapter in San Diego, you'll find out, forget you guys, I'm 60, and in my lifetime, I think I'm going to do it. Remember, I'm going to live till 128. It's going to happen. It's not if, it's not but, it's for sure that I'm going to go to a different planet, have lunch and dinner, spend the night, and come back. And I'm going to be able to afford it. This is going to happen. So when you hear about, oh, world is coming to an end, oh, what's your definition of the world? Your city, your state, America, planet world, planet Earth? What about life under the ocean? What about life on the ocean? What about different planets? What materials exist in other planets that by bringing it to planet Earth, you're going to be able to produce things that has never been produced before? What if there are homes that are built, when the structure goes up, that structure automatically, without any solar panels, will capture energy of the sun at the most rapid way possible, harness it within the structure of that material, and you just need some adapters, some connectivity, and there is electricity on your building. You built a building, it comes with electricity, has equipments that it has water, has connectivity to the planet. These are crazy stuff, but it's happening. It's around the corner. This is affecting our future of our food, water, shelter, energy, I don't know, all the communications aspect of things, educational aspect of things, computational, labor force, and because of robotics, transportation, healthcare, you name it, data, experiences you're going to have in your life. You're going to wear one of these suckers, and you're going to be in an environment that you're going to experience it. You're going to smell it. You're going to taste it. You're going to feel it. And you're going to say, wait a second, I just felt this closeness to a human being on a different planet. I smelled her, I touched her skin, I'm in love with this person. And you are in one part of the world, that individual could be another part of the world. This is what you're about to see. It is crazy. Not sure if you heard about Hyperloop and Uber Elevate, but right now, just imagine these things, the convergences. Imagine what this thing's going to be doing. Imagine that they're going to be this Hyperloops. It's already been built, been tested. Imagine you go from downtown San Diego to LAX, which takes about 2 hours, in 15 minutes. This train-like equipment goes inside a vacuum cylinder at that type of a speed. Before you can make it to the newspaper, you went 2 hours away in 15 minutes. What does that mean? Everybody wants to live downtown now, pay the high rent, live in a high rise? No, you're gonna move away for an hour or two. You don't have to buy $1 million home. It would be a $200,000 home and you get all the backyard. 15 minutes you're at work because of this Hyperloop that's being tested. Richard Branson's Virgin Company is one of the main operators of this space. What about Uber Elevate? And eventually they may sell it and they sell it to other groups that will pick it up. Imagine what Uber did and now Lyft and others like them to take you from point A to point B as a taxi with a device in your hand without having to come up with the money that immediately, without wondering if the guy is going the shortest route or longer route to charge you money. Imagine for a little more distance routes. Let's say you're half an hour, 45 minutes away from a place. Imagine you go to the rooftop of a building. There's a helicopter with 6 propellers on top with no pilot, just like you're getting onto an Uber X. You pay the money, your app is ready, you go up there, you sit on it, and it goes up there and it drops you by your home in certain areas. That's going to happen. Just imagine that. Imagine going from point A to point B that much easier, with the chance of it going down far, far less than even a car accident, because it has 6 independent propellers that runs and you're not going to crash. They're already signing leases in main cities such as New York, Boston, and Chicago. This is not if and but, it is happening. What about future of education? I mean, it's hard to learn every subject they put in front of you. Imagine, just imagine a world whereby the computer in front of you, by looking at you, being connected to your sensors, connected to your temperature, measuring your anxiety, your eyes, your tension, and everything else about you, knows that the piece of information that's being delivered to you by a teacher at the university or other universities is not going in. That's when the old days, the parents used to smack the back of the kid's head, like, can you not get it through your thick skull? Now, if the information cannot come to you the way it's delivered, imagine they change the information in such a way that that information can get to you. Imagine that information can get to you until you get it. The way they deliver the data. It could be a different teacher, it could be a different way they talk about it, and they'd be able to measure if that information going in or not. This is the world we're going to be living at. In fact, because of this pandemic, people have learned how to spread the knowledge through other means except in person, which you can never replace it, of course, but the opportunities is abundance of how things can change, how amazing things can be when it comes to knowledge and education and all that stuff. Imagine what's happening right now with the concept of thoughts to text and thoughts to voice. Imagine you're running late getting to a meeting. Imagine instead of calling or texting, you think, call Nicholas, tell him I'm running 10 minutes late. And imagine Nicholas will get a text or a voicemail from you saying, hey, John is running late by 10 minutes. You got to be careful, because if you got a girlfriend and you're thinking about another girl, and if she's connected to your cloud, she's going to get pretty pissed off. So privacy comes to play, of course. But there's going to be a world that is already at 88% accuracy. Thoughts to text. Imagine where your thoughts is translated to various computer-generated devices. They can put thoughts into images. These are beyond the norm that we're dealing with, and they're not wishful thinking. These are things that are happening in the labs in Bay Area, around the United States and in America and China in a very profound way. Billions and billions of dollars are chasing to enhance this type of knowledges. It's happening. The age reversal is already on its way. 3D printing of your medicine and your body parts is already on its way. At the end of the day, the 5 things that exponential technology does is digitize, they dematerialize, they demonetize, they democratize, and then don't forget the adjacents. What is adjacents? Like adjacent. That's like Amazon. Amazon sold books only. Then it was, if I can sell books, what's around books? What else would those type of people buy? Videos? CDs? One thing led to another. Tell me some of the stuff that they don't sell now. I guarantee one of you guys will be a billionaire. I guarantee that one of you guys is going to come up with a disruptive technology that will change the world. Does it mean you have to be great in technology? No. Does it mean you have to have a lot of funding? No. Does it mean you have to be smart in any darn things? No. So how then can you become a billionaire or change the world in one area? You just have to have a belief in one thing, your mindset. What goes through your mind? You become what you think about all day long. So if you think it's not possible, you're right. If you think it's possible that I can change the world, you're right. Take your pick. Are you living an abundance mindset or scarcity mindset? It's easy to change. And if you go with abundance mindset, you hang around with people that think abundance, you look at all the possibilities, challenges, and stuff that defy your mind, does not scare you. You don't mind living in fear. You don't mind giving things a try. And all of a sudden you realize, hell, you had an idea. And that idea of yours
Is he lagging for you guys too? Okay. Hopefully he'll reconnect. Maybe?
Not sure what's going on.
I think his Wi-Fi went out.
Hmm.
Although it shows his connection's good.
Maybe this is part of it. Maybe it's going to give us an idea.
Oh. Alright. Well, hopefully he rejoined. He's like blowing.
God, he had another 20 minutes to go, didn't he?
Huh?
He had another 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that was really engaging, honestly.
I know, I love him so much. He's like, he just has such a I mean, he talked about like abundance mindset, right? Like most people are like, oh, it's not possible. We're not gonna get there. And he's like, no, we're getting there in 5 years, guys. Like we're gonna be going to Mars, and like you're gonna be going from city to city in 5 minutes, like in 5 years, like it's happening, which I think is it's pretty sick. Let me email him.
I wanted to ask him what his first ever project was
Ooh,
that really got him like on the path. Because now he's had like 20 companies, didn't he say?
he's
So
done at least 10. Um, he's currently doing like real estate development, I think, right now. Um, but he's done. I know he's done like an education, not an education, like a screen time app. I think it's called like Parentswear, where it would like
mm,
it's basically like tracking kids' screen times. I know that was one thing.
that's smart.
Oh,
There's a market for that. That's really smart.
all right, he's back, so maybe you'll get a chance to ask him.
Oh, great.
Mr. Badiee, can you hear us?
All right,
You're
we're back.
back.
Okay, so shall I quickly finish it up? So
Yes, go ahead.
what I was saying is the most important thing that I can share with you guys is your mindset. That mindset of yours is what is the only thing that's going to make this life and this world reality for you. If you concentrate and think about whatever you think about, that becomes real for you. And if you be able to be confident in your abilities and be confident in yourself and don't think about anything that you don't have, because the mere fact you're here, the mere fact you're alive, the mere fact that you have made yourself to an amazing university, it's all you need. And there's going to be other people that have all the talents that you may perceive as not having. Somebody else can do the programming. Somebody else can do the design. Somebody else can come up with a business plan. Some other people can raise the money. And together, you guys can produce amazing thing, which comes down to what? Forget about your ego that you're the doer, because you're not doer. You are just a spoke in a wheel of perfection in life. You're playing a role. And if you think that by doing what you do, you can serve and you can provide a service for the well-being of life, it'd be amazing to you how dormant forces come alive. You'd be amazed at how many people at your age, a little older or even younger, how they can accomplish amazing things in labs right now on projects that raise money because their intention is good. They want to make the world a better place. And once they can bring whatever it is they bring to the picture, it could be only being able to tell a story, paint a picture. And other people says, you know what? I always wanted to do that. I'll do this part of it for you. And I do that part of it, for you. And all of a sudden with the collaboration, you can do amazing things. And in this world, crowdsourcing, I didn't talk about that. I just raised money for my development projects. That is amazing how you put your vision up there. I want to develop this. And other people have the money, but they can never even fathom being able to be a part of an investment in a different city. And they said, oh my God, I can be a part of that. And I can only put 50 grand, 10 grand, 100 grand. Because usually it's reserved for large institutions. All of a sudden, millions of money around the world will come in onto what ideas and belief systems and images that you may have formed that become your moonshot or your MTP, massively transformative purposes and all that. So with that in mind, I think I'm done talking. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer for you guys. And we go from there. Anything in particular, or should we say goodbye? Up to you, Nicholas.
I know John had a really good question for you, so
John, please.
Yeah, so what was your first ever project that you worked on to propel you to where you are today?
My first project was at my very first job. My first job was an industrial engineer at Gap stores. And I was in charge of distribution centers. I was an engineer, and we had to get rid of excess inventories. And I had an amazing mentor and a boss. His name was Bill Yeager. He's still alive, one of my very best friends. And he asked me to have this warehouse sales conducted. In doing the warehouse sales, I realized people are willing to come and buy all these inventories at pennies on a dollar. And that's when I decided to leave a company, start my first career and all that. But also at that experience at my Gap and Banana Republic Distribution Center, where they were installing wire-guided material handling systems. This is some 30 years ago, that there are wires on the ground that forklifts go directly to a particular location, and they go pick up a pallet and they bring it down and take the merchandise to a particular part of a facility. The world is changing so fast. So remember, everything you're gonna learn is gonna be based on your experiences, and the experiences are between you and the world. And you got to remember, there is nothing ever wrong with anything in the world. How you look at it makes it so. So try to become an individual who looks at things the correct way rather than from a negative way.
Ricardo, would you
Anything
like
else?
a quick?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what's been the hardest project you've ever taken on?
The hardest project that I have taken on, and I can tell you about two aspects of it. One that I have succeeded on, and one that I have not succeeded on yet. First of all, you got to remember, there is no such a thing as failure, period. Failure, it just doesn't exist. You can opt not to do anything so you don't fail, or you're the kind of person that you keep trying newer, harder, more challenging things, and universe says, not so, not today. So failures are just basically work in progress, are opportunities to overcome hurdles and challenges. If you don't fail, and the people that come and says, I've never failed, it only means one thing to me. They never tried harder for harder and bigger things. One of the things that I have not succeeded on, I wanted to be the first individual to bring 3D printing of homes to America. I signed an agreement with a Danish company. We were about to ship the equipment over. COVID hits, and the delay, we decided we have to understand what the implication of that is. And as a result, we didn't go as far as I wanted to yet. And meanwhile, it's been perfectized. And why was it a challenge? Because American government have stringent laws when it comes to seismic related matters. So when certain things are allowed to be built in, let's say, parts of Europe, in America, there are rules and regulations that prohibit structures to go in that doesn't have the proper foundation and walls that could crumble in case of earthquake and so on and so forth. So we were going to do a lot of testing and find our way and make progress that has never been made. And I still haven't done that yet. But along the same token is that when the COVID hits, I was only doing, 1 or 2 buildings a year. Because of COVID, because of that challenge, we realized there's a lot of demand for e-commerce. As a result, we're working on 13 projects currently. The valuation of these projects are well over $500 million. And I would imagine by end of the year, it's going to be close to $1 billion worth of projects if we decided to go forward and if we can deal with all the entitlement related matters. So we have to learn how do you raise money, how do you staff up to accomplish things that prior to COVID, we never even imagined or thought we want to do, and so on and so forth. But as a rule of thumb, for an entrepreneur who had 12 companies, challenge is a constant part of my life. And when things become easy and there's no challenge, you have a little bit more fun, but you're not learning anything and you're not progressing in life. But you do need time to stay back and take a deep breath and do more skiing and do more vacationing. But the biggest challenge of every human being by far is not how to make the world a better place. The biggest challenge, if you're so fortunate to get to that level, is how to make yourself a better human being, how to understand who you are as a person, who you are, what your role is, and what is your made up is, and according to who you are in this life, be able to function and produce and serve the world to the best of your ability, as opposed to trying to be something who you're not and trying to mimic other people who are around you. So, good question, pal. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a really quick question. So, a few of the topics we always go back to in futurism are climate change, nuclear warfare, and genetic engineering. So I was wondering, because those are all, in my opinion, like existential threats, right? Like climate change, obviously, nuclear warfare. We have differing opinions, but I would love to hear your opinion on that. And then also genetic engineering, right? With all the biohacking you were talking about and like changing what it means to be human. So I'd love to hear your like a quick like 2 cents on those.
Yeah, of course. Just remember, whenever you encounter anything, do you have an abundance mindset or scarcity mindset? The minute you go to scarcity, you're going to start looking at everything that is bad about those things. But at an abundant mindset, you cannot think bad about anything. You become protective and you use those as measuring guides to make sure you damage the world in such a way. But let's say climate change. I love this life, I love this climate, but imagine when, because of the climate change issues we're experiencing, and imagine the world is going to be affected for future people. As a result, people with abundance mindset, they're going to find ways to create new ways, create ways to live in other planets, use parts of our world that we are really not using properly, it being ocean. Imagine, ocean is used, is 3/4 of the world, something like that, right? Maybe more. What do we know ocean as? Sailing, swimming, or fishing? Are you kidding me? 3/4 of our planet is around us and we use it for surfing, boating, fishing. You can live in it. The discovery of all that will not happen till there is a need. Necessity is the mother of all creation. So we haven't worked on our climate change because there hasn't been necessity. As the world diminishes its benefit, the world of good people with abundance mindset will find a way to make it better. When you find how to harness the ground and you damage it less and produce better result, like I mentioned with the sensor, you get to produce more out of this world and all that. Fruits become cheaper. Eventually harnessing energy becomes better. As far as, warfares and all that, there's always going to be something. And we will always find a solution with it. Yes, a scarcity mindset will say, oh my God, someone's going to drop a nuclear warhead and then we are all diminished. Or we can also look at what has actually happened. There has been less killing on the planet Earth and less death now that has ever happened in our generation ever before. We are at the most peaceful time of our planet ever. So the rest of it is like listening to the news. What is the function of news? The function of the news, just so you know, it has to be negative or you will not watch it. If 92% of any news is delivered on a television or radio station, they will not be in business. So don't worry about the negative news that you hear. And how often do you listen to positive news and station? Never. Why? Because there is none. Why? Because when people listen to something that's good news, oh, great, good news, we don't have to worry about it. I'm going to go out and do my thing. It's bad and negative news that makes you, oh my God, I got to watch it because how do I protect my family or how do I protect my investment and health and otherwise? So for the mind of an abundant guys, I let the smart guys of the world figure out the negative stuff. For us, I like to be able to produce so I can use my resources and contribute it to causes that make all the issues that you're concerned about to improve and to make the world a better place. That's how I look at things. But that's a great question. Anything else, boys?
I think that's it. That was, I really liked your idea of the abundance mindset. Like just because I feel like once you start looking at the negatives, like you were saying, or thinking in terms of scarcity, then your mind closes, right? Because then you're looking at all the bad. But then when you have abundance and you're just keeping an open mind, then you open up to opportunities and possibilities, which I really like that idea. So yeah.
Absolutely. Just imagine at your age going through the university, you are not supposed to do much. And anything you know, you think this is all I need to know. Just keep it open, constantly learn, constantly have teachers. I mean, I spend 50 to 100 grand a year on my education. And I will do more if I could. The world is such an amazing thing. It's in the palm of your hand. You guys got to change the world, and you're going to have the tools to do it. I mean, you can start any business with overnight. You have a website up, and you can interact with the world. And there's abundance of people that will help you accomplish what your objective is. So the mindset that is abundance is, how do I make the world a better place? If I have all the money, if I have all the resources, if I have all the time in the world, what would that be? So therefore, what becomes your moonshot? What is it that you dream about doing? What do you dream about changing? What do you dream about a massively transformative purpose that people look at you and say, this freaking guy is crazy. Look at what the shit he's talking about. That's your massively transformative purpose. If it says, if you come up with one of those, whatever that is, and say, oh, that's nice. Well, guys, that's bullshit. You guys can do anything. And the part of it is we are usually limited to what we know and we don't know. My mom says I can never become a lawyer. My mom says this. My dad said this. My friend says you're not good at that. That's past tense. Because the world we live in, you cannot learn from your mistakes. The world we live in, you learn from mistake of others. Just Google it, you learn it. You guys can change the world, not when you're 50 and 60. You can change it by the time you're out of college, while you're in college, by the time you're 30. So ideally then, you want to surround yourself with a group of people that we call it the unique ability culture. Unique ability culture is you work in an environment where you do two things are the most important thing. Number one, you love what you do. And number two, you're very good at it. If you do what you love to do, you're really not working a day in your life. You work around the clock. And if you're very good at it, those are the two things that's going to attract other people that are very good at what they do and they love what they do. Combination of a bunch of people like that around the world with something like this, you're going to be able to have a company that's international with the best of the best around the world. You talk in a meeting in English, your Chinese partner or team member are going to hear it in Chinese. Your friend from Sweden going to hear it in Swedish in Sweden. And the product is made in India. He heard everything in Indian. And as he's talking Indian, you hear it in English, he heard it in Swedish, the other guy heard it in Chinese. This is the world you live in. The only thing that prohibits you from getting there is because you guys haven't been around long enough to say, oh, that's possible. So don't let your mind, which job is to make sure you don't get hurt. Therefore, anything that is foreign, anything that has a fear, anything to do with unknown, it wants to protect you. So its job is to say, no, 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 no. Your job is says, hell yes, I'm going to go after it. So you get your nose blooded, so you fall and you get up. After a while, you're not comfortable not falling. You're not comfortable knowing things. You're not happy when you just know about what's happening and all that. You become the Superman who constantly challenges the world. And next thing you know, people are helping you, you're helping them, and world becomes a better place. So with that in mind, everyone, it was a pleasure. I love you all. I wish you the best, and hopefully we will reunite in the near future again.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know we all loved your talk. Take
All
care.
right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So long, everyone.
See ya.